One of the most ickiest experiences is seeing an area in your life that's not working for you, but you cannot see the path to get out of it, to resolve that situation. So you find yourself stuck, indecisive, and powerless. Today, I'm going to show you how not to just make a decision, but make the right decision that will lead you down the path to changing those stuck areas in your life. That's what we're going to take a look at today. Coming up. Welcome to the Power of Quiet, helping you get in touch with the real you, that part of you that has no limitation, that's full of love and happiness and full of abundance. And if that's something that you want to experience more of in your life, then click the subscribe button and welcome to the channel. Now, today, I want to talk about a disease in thinking that causes us to be indecisive, where we see something in our life that isn't working for us, something that needs to change, whether it's a financial situation, something that's going on in our relationship, or anything else, where we see it, but we don't do anything about it. We just sit there like a lump on a log. And the only action that we do seem to take is complaining about it, whether it's to others or just to ourselves. Now, a lot of people, a lot of self-help gurus will say, just make a decision, just go for it, just do it. And that's not bad advice. Taking action, even if it's the wrong action, is better than taking no action at all, because it gives you something to sink your teeth into and start learning what the right action is, even if it's the wrong action. But today, I want to go a little bit more deeply into this topic and uncover the ability that we all have to get clarity and really take the right action right from the start. All right? So, what we're going to do is examine how our mind works. And most of the time, we take our minds for granted. We just take for granted that there's this voice that's always talking to us, always giving us advice, always telling us what to watch out for, what to be aware of, what to want, what to put our energy into. And it is leading us around just like a master leads a slave. Well, we're the slave to our own mind, our own thinking. And the joke is that we programmed this mind. We programmed it initially to be a servant to us, to be a tool for us to use. But now we're letting our mind boss us around. And this is the disease in thinking that I was talking about, where we just get stuck. We're listening to our mind. It's feeding us all sorts of information, but we don't really have the right information to take action and correct something that's not working for us in our life. So let's look into the mind a little bit more closely. All right? Just examine your mind right now. Look at it. And what is your mind? How do you experience it? It's just a sound in your head, this voice that's talking to you. Where did it come from? Who gave it to you? Did your parents give it to you? Did God give it to you? It's your voice, isn't it? And most of the time, this voice is talking negative garbage, right? It's complaining, it's criticizing, it's judging, it's worried. Rarely does it talk about anything positive. Rarely does it tell you, hey, you can. No, it tells you every reason why you can't. So if the mind is so negative, who said that you had to listen to that thing? Especially if it belongs to you. It is your mind, isn't it? So why put up with that if that isn't working for you, that which it's telling you? Now, I'll show you exactly how your mind works when it comes to trying to find a solution to a problem that's in your life. Now watch what happens when you've got a situation. Think about a situation that's not working for you. A situation that you've been trying to resolve. You got something in mind? Now, notice what you've been trying to do. You've been trying to find a solution, an answer. You've been trying to find a way to change it. And when you're looking for that solution, what are you doing? You're asking your mind for the answer. And your mind loves that. Your mind eats that up because the way that your mind talks to you is it says, hey, anytime you don't know what to do, just ask me. I'll help you find the answer. And it sends you all over the place. It sends you over here, over there, go Google this, go ask this expert, go read that book. It sends you all over the place. And when you exhausted all of these resources and possibilities and ways of thinking, and you still don't have the answer, you still can't change that problem, what does your mind say? It says, all right, well, you haven't been able to figure it out. You haven't been able to resolve it. Here's my advice. Beat yourself up. Isn't that true? And take a look at this situation that you've been looking for a solution to. Now, first of all, can you see that you've been asking your mind for an answer? And it doesn't have one, right? It's sending you all over the place. If it had an answer, you can implement it, you can take action, and resolve the situation. So first of all, you see your mind doesn't have an answer. Now, second of all, can you see that your mind does have an answer? Its solution is beat yourself up, right? And haven't you been getting down on yourself, feeling bad, and literally beating yourself up over the situation? Have you? Now, in doing that, in beating yourself up, is that going to get you a solution? Is that going to change things by being negative? No, that's ridiculous. And who's doing that? You're doing that, aren't you? Now, don't go blaming your mind. Oh, my mind is telling me to do it. You're the owner of it, right? Whose mind is it? It's your mind. Stop acting like a slave. Now act like an owner. Act like the boss. You're the owner of your mind. All right? And if it's telling you to beat yourself up, look, you've been the owner all along. And it's been your decision to go along with it. Okay, yeah, I'll beat myself up. You're doing it. Make no mistake about that. So if you're doing it and it's not fixing the situation for you, now you can make a smart decision. You can decide, I'm going to be positive and love myself, or I'm going to be negative and beat myself up. What do you decide? Well, I'm assuming you're going for the smart decision. You're going for love. And this is where you can make another decision. Now, could you let go of disapproving of yourself? If you're doing it, it's just a simple yes or no decision now to stop it. Could you let go of disapproving of yourself? Yes or no? And could you let go of disapproving of yourself a little bit more? And could you let go of disapproving of yourself a little bit more? And could you let go of disapproving of yourself even more? And could you let go of disapproving of yourself even more? And could you let go of disapproving of yourself even more? And could you let go of disapproving of yourself even more? And even more. And even more. And could you let go of disapproving of yourself even more? And even more. And even more. Now notice how you feel. Notice if you feel just a little bit lighter. by making that simple decision, that simple yes or no decision. You notice that? How about that? That's proving you are in charge. It is your decision. You don't have to listen to that mind. You can stand up right now and be the boss. All right? And if you're feeling lighter, then undoubtedly you're moving in the right direction now. And now we can take it a step further. Now, could you give yourself some love and approval? Because obviously that's a smart thing to do. Could you just like yourself? Again, yes or no. It's a simple decision. And could you give yourself a little bit more approval? And could you give yourself a little bit more approval? And a little bit more. And could you give yourself even more approval? And even more. 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 And notice how you feel now. See if you feel even lighter. Now, take a look at that situation in your life. Whether it's, a financial situation that's not so great, a relationship that's not so great, or whatever it is that you're looking at. And take a look to see if you're disapproving of that situation. Have you? Now, when you're disapproving of that situation, what are you doing? You're literally dumping negativity into it. Is that going to make the situation better by putting negativity into it? Or is it going to make it worse? Or at best, just keep you stuck, where nothing changes and all you do is sit around and complain about it? All right, so putting negativity into it is ridiculous. And who's doing that? You're doing that, aren't you? And if you're doing it, and that's just a ridiculous thing to do, what do you decide to do now? Now that you're looking at it more clearly, what is your decision? You want to be positive and loving or negative and hateful? All right, so look, just own up to the negativity. And here's the thing, don't beat yourself up for beating yourself up if you see it. It's just a habit. It's something that you probably weren't really realizing that you were doing, except when you stop and you look at it and go, oh, yeah, well, that's silly to do it. And if I'm the one who's doing it, I can reverse that decision. See, it's not a big deal. All I need to do now is just make a decision. Are you going to be positive and loving or negative and beat up on that situation? All right, so I'm assuming that you're going for positivity. Could you let go of disapproving that situation? Again, take responsibility for that negativity. Could you let that go? If you're doing it, you can let go of doing it. And could you let go of disapproving of it a little bit more? And could you let go of disapproving of it even more? And could you let go of disapproving of it even more? And even more. And even more. And could you let go of disapproving of it even more? And even more. And just let that negativity go. See, it's just a thought that you're creating. It's just a decision. You just let go of disapproving of it. And how does that feel? And All we're looking for is a lighter feeling. Do you feel a little bit lighter? That's it. See, that's all we're looking for. It's showing us that we're moving in the right direction. And now, can you give that situation some approval? Now, this is kind of a wild trip to the mind. Your mind's like, well, wait, no, because I'm just going to reinforce that situation. I want to get away from it. No, look, to give it approval doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. Doesn't mean that you have to allow it to remain. It just means that you're going to love it for the sake of loving it, because positive doesn't hurt anything. You get that? Positive doesn't hurt anything at all. And it's your decision. So could you just give it some love and approval? It doesn't mean that it has to remain that way, but can you just love it as it is? Even if it's just a little bit. I know it might be like, how can I do that? Just give it a little bit of love and approval, if you can. And give it a little bit more. And a little bit more. And could you love it a little bit more just because you can? And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And could you love it even more? Notice how you feel now. Now, take a look to see if it's more possible to find a solution now than it was a few moments ago before we started this. See if you feel a little bit clearer. See if you feel more capable now of taking action. All right, do you have a sense of, yes, I can? A sense that there is a solution. You notice that? Now here's the thing. What you're getting in touch with is a part of you that's beyond the mind, the thinking mind. Because you saw what that mind is mostly. It's a bunch of negativity. And all the mind is just programs that you put in. And it's all from the past. All that mind is just an accumulation of garbage stored up from the past. And it just comes out in a very negative way. And the mind itself is a very limited instrument. But there's a part of you that is way bigger than the mind. And there's a part of you that has answers beyond what the mind can give you. And that's what you're starting to get in touch with now. And this part I call quiet. I call beingness. I call being in the now. And this is the type of place, situation, where you find yourself where answers just come to you intuitively. And you know what that's like. You've been in this place where you just got quiet, you felt positive, and you got all sorts of inspired ideas. They didn't come from your mind. They just kind of came from your intuition, your higher self. And the more you let go of listening to that mind, and even more so when you take active steps to quiet that mind, so it's not making so much noise all the time, drowning out this higher part of you. You see what's possible. You see that you are unlimited. And by the way, when you were following along letting go of disapproving yourself and giving yourself approval. This natural, lighter feeling is the real you. This is a part of you that is full of love. And inside every single person on this planet is this loving being, covered up by the noise in the mind. So even the people that are doing evil things, despicable acts, inside they are loving, covered up by negative, evil thinking. So what's the solution? For all of us, quiet that thinking. To bring out this loving being. And find that we could just live intuitively, in harmony, as most of the universe lives in. The whole universe operates in harmony. All the planets and solar systems and galaxies are all very, very harmonious. And everything that's on this planet in nature is all harmonious. But we as man have been disrupting that harmony. In what way? With thinking. This thinking is a disruptor of love and harmony. And it's this thinking that has been keeping us stuck and in our own lives experiencing disharmony. All right? So let's take it a step further here. Let's just see what it's like to let go of thinking a bit. See if it gets better or if it gets worse. See, there's one thing that we do on this channel. It's everything that we do is experiential. I'm not just throwing out a bunch of ideas, positive affirmations, just because they sound good. That's what almost everybody else does. And it sounds great, but really, what value does it give you? What can you do with that information? If somebody tells you, oh, just make a decision, get positive, be decisive. Okay, well, how? Right? So we are actually here to experience what it's like and how you can actually do it. All right? So let's go a step further. Take a look at your mind. Get a picture of your mind. Close your eyes. This will help you. And just get a picture of your mind, whatever that looks like to you. And whatever that picture is that you see, just imagine that picture now, evaporating and dissolving. And allow your mind to evaporate and dissolve even more. And even more. And even more. Just imagine that picture dissolving away and disappearing into nothing. And even more. And while you're at it, get a picture of your body, whatever that looks like to you. And could you allow that picture to evaporate and dissolve? And more. And even more. And get a picture of your ego. You know, that story about who you are, your personality, all of your preferences, your likes, your dislikes, all of that stuff. What is it but a story that you tell yourself? Get a picture of that. And the only reason why that story exists is because you're telling yourself that story. Change the story and it's no longer true. Yet look at how you've been fighting to protect that story, validate it, and even impose it on others. So just get a picture of that story, your ego, Could you allow that to evaporate and dissolve? And more. And even 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 more. And what are you experiencing now? Now ask yourself, if I'm not my mind, if I'm not my body, and if I'm not that story, that ego, who am I? Now just take what you get. There's no right or wrong answer here. Whatever you get, whatever comes up, just surrender to it. Right now, let that answer take you wherever it's going. If I'm not my mind, if I'm not my body, if I'm not my ego, who am I? What am I? Where am I? And just let that take you wherever it's going. Just jump in, just like jumping into a gentle stream, and just let it gently take you along wherever it's going. Merrily, 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 down the stream. Life is but a dream. And just notice what answer you get. Now, leave me a comment below. Put it in the best words you can make. What are you? If you're not your mind, if you're not your body, if you're not your ego. Might be difficult to put in words, but do your best. I'm really interested in seeing what you discover. If what I'm doing here in this process is resonating with you, let me know in the comments below. But before we conclude here, just try one more thing. Just get nice and quiet now and say to yourself, I, 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 I am. I am. I am. I am. And notice what you're experiencing now. And look at that situation in your life. And again, see if it's more possible to change it or take action. See if you have a more clear path, something that you can do to change things. Or maybe you see you don't have to do anything to change things. Just change your picture. Or you might see that there is no problem. Nothing needs to be changed. Just notice if you have more clarity about it. And see, right away, doing what we're doing puts you in a better position where you see things more clearly and you could take action more clearly because now you have less resistance. You're less stuck in your mind and you can move forward. This is how you can make a decision, take action, and change whatever's stuck in your life. You can do it. All right, so let me know what you experience by leaving me a message in the comments below. And keep practicing this, and I'll see you soon. Take care.